Right. So I think I've been so focused on trying to get this monster jumper done um, that uh, I've kind of like forgotten to kind of like update you on other stuff that I've been that's kind of going on around as well. It's not nothing, you know, major. It's just like uh, payday has come, and uh, yeah, I may have bought a few more things. It's essentially, I think what I'm trying to do is obviously trying to get a handle on what I'm spending now, because it's just I understand now why people, in videos talk about their kind of like their hoard or their stash of wool and stuff like that. You just see something and you just have to buy it. You don't always have a plan in mind for it, but yeah, you just think you're gonna miss out on something. I mean, obviously, I'm not paying like loads of money for my wool. Um, it is all Temu still. um, but I'm kind of getting a bit more experience with Temu now. I thought at first, obviously, it was really good value, and I think probably it still is. But I'm learning now that the offers that they send you aren't necessarily really offers. Um, you know, it's just incentives to kind of it's like FOMO essentially, isn't it? They make you feel like you're going to miss out on something if you don't take advantage of that offer right there and then or something. But obviously, all it is like they say, oh, you get 100% coupons, and that kind of give you money off kind of thing. But then you go through, you buy something, then you see the coupons, and obviously, you have there's minimum spend attached to them. Um, and obviously, it's the £100 or whatever is made up of like maybe £20 of offers you're likely to use because the minimum spend is fairly reasonable. But then you're talking like spending like 60 or 100 quid to get the really big discounts, which you're not really saving money if you're spending extra to get the discounts. So that's kind of where I'm at with Tea at the moment. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to set a budget every month, put money aside. If I spend it, I spend it. If I don't, there's more to spend later on. That's worked for me in other ways in life, just for budgeting, especially on minimum wage or whatever. You kind of you have to really rein in those kind of impulse purchases. Um, so yeah, so what I've done is I bought some bits and pieces. The first thing isn't actually Temu; it is from Amazon. Slight difference. um, so I'm really enjoying using those DPNs. Um, but obviously for the socks, uh, I'm really scared that my kebab sticks are gonna um, break. And if you don't know what I mean by kebab sticks, essentially, if you can imagine, if you haven't seen them already, the kind of giant cocktail sticks that you use for barbecue kebabs or something like that, skewers. That's what I'm knitting my socks with at the moment. So I thought, yeah, you know, maybe I could try something else a bit more. Uh, where I'm not worried about like snapping it halfway through. Um, so I thought I'd try out a few different things. So what I've gone and done is I've gone and bought some more DPNs. Um, Obviously, I was looking at small uh, gauge needles, if that's the right term. So they're 2 millimeters at most. So these two are 2 millimeters, which is the same as my kebab sticks. One's longer than the other, which I like. Means that the longer one I've got I can probably use for a bit more variety. But you for the socks, then I don't have loads of excess length on the needles um, when I'm doing them. And the other ones then are, I can't read the writing without lifting my glasses up. Sorry. A 1 millimeter. It's that one there, and what's it? A 1.5. So it's still not focusing, is it? There. So yeah. The reason I got those, I think way back when I started this, I kind of went through some of my yarn, whatever. I've got this like really fine kind of cottony thread and a cake, actually, in the wall that I've just purchased as well. I think I've got another one of that. Um, so here, so here is an example of it. It's this stuff, which, as you can see, is just really fine. I'm hoping you can see that, but yeah. So I've worked out that this is meant for like shawls and something like that. I don't know how it knits up. I haven't tried it yet, um, but I will. I'll, now that I've got two of them, I've probably got enough to make something that's not a shawl. I don't think I'll be wearing a very fine cotton shawl, um, but I might try and see if I can do like a t-shirt or something. You know, if it's really quite fine, it'll probably be quite nice for like a summer thing. Although obviously with it being that fine, and maybe knitting it on a 1 or 1.5 needle, obviously I'll test them up and post what I think about it on here when I do it. Um, it should be really thin and light for summer, really, shouldn't it? So, um, but yeah, that's the intention. Um, but yeah, so those needles, I quite like. I don't think they'll break. Supposed to be, I don't know, a bit better than a kebab stick, anyway. Um, so yeah, so you just saw that wool, that cottony one. Um, Obviously, with buying them on Temu, it's a bit of a lottery then in terms of what I end up with because I'm not very good with colours in terms of uh, the whole kind of like colour theory thing and matching colours. Certainly when I was in art college when I was younger, um, that was something I really struggled with. It was just colouring, because I used to like write and draw comic books when I was a kid, but I'd never colour them because you know when, whenever I just like weird colours, So when I would colour things in, and it would just not look right because I'm not really colouring for accuracy. I'm colouring because I like the colours. So that's pretty much going to be my approach to wool, really. So um, the other one that I've got is, and they're all going to be like this kind of like variegated type thing. Is that one. I have no idea what a lot of these are actually made of. No, I've just all thrown them all everywhere. And I don't think it says on here. So, oh, there we go. Cotton and acrylic. Oh, that's a cotton one. So that, again, that could be a summer top. So this is something I'm really thinking of now. Is obviously once this jumper's done, it's like end of March, beginning of April when I'm recording this. Um, so it's not going to be long before the weather gets better. Um, so I'm starting to think ahead now. What's my next thing going to be? So I'm hoping I'll finish that jumper before the end of this week. And yeah, so I'm looking at lots of videos now about summer knits. Obviously, a lot of them are obviously female tops kind of thing, you know. I don't seem to be getting a lot of YouTubers that are blokes, but I don't know. Maybe that says something about me and my viewing habits. But a lot of them are kind of like women's tops, you know. So all I can do really, as I've been doing, is not worrying about patterns as such and just learning the techniques. So I'm watching the kind of the construction of how these things are done. Um, and then, as with the jumper and everything else that I've done so far, which isn't a lot, but for me, I feel like I'm learning the techniques so I can just make it. If you know what I mean, I don't have to worry about a pattern. I need to learn about the kind of measurements, the kind of uh, ways you kind of increase or decrease, what measurements that you have to take to kind of like assess how many stitches and rows that you're going to need to achieve things. So for me, we'll see what I end up with. It might be a t-shirt as bad as this jumper, but for a first t-shirt, I'm not going to care. And the wall is like a fiver, so what have I lost? Other than gaining experience doing it. So yeah, this is another one. This is a really weird texture. I don't know what that is. And again, the descriptions are usually very uh, basic on these things. Oh, there we go. 40% acrylic and mohair. So there we go. So again, something like this, I don't know that it's gonna like you knit it on its own. I don't know. It's quite thin. I'm guessing this is one of these ones that you hold with something else, which is also something obviously I'm going to need to try at some point. And that means I need to find a base wool that then would work with that to help highlight or bring out that kind of the texture and the colors in that, so that it makes it worth using that. So that and the base wool is basically essentially like maybe a background or something like that. I don't know. I haven't done it. I haven't looked that far into it yet. I'm not. I haven't looked at anything really that involves double stranding. Just like color work. I'm not occupying brain space with color work yet because I don't need to know it because there's still so much I need to learn about the basic construction of things. Excuse me. So that's why I'm going a lot for walls that have variation in them, so I can just basically knit something basic, and any character or life that the top will have will come through the choice of wool. Um, and that actually, this one, I've got another one here that I bought. This looks pretty much the same as the other one, just rebadged. Let's have a look. Yeah, it says mohair. And does it say on here what it is? No, this one's 70% mohair, 15% wool, and 15% nylon. Again, something to learn about. What is the difference? It's like if I hold them both together, I mean, they both kind of look the same. You see? So I guess we'll find out. If nothing else, I've just got lots of that will go straight into something. Those were obviously two separate purchases where I've just gone, oh, that looks interesting. I click on it, add it to the basket, and then wait a month or two for it to arrive. and then I'm like, oh, what have I bought? So that, it's quite a nice surprise when these things happen. Um, and again, I've just got, and again, the wait that there's something that I'm still not getting with wall purchasing. Is why certainly on Temu anyway. Uh, People use weights of yarn when that means nothing, doesn't it? I mean, not all wool is going to weigh the same per meter. So why? How does that help in assessing what you need to do to get a particular project done? Surely you gotta go by the meterage or whatever. I'm still not around that. It's like 300 grams of one wool can be like I don't even know. Was it 200 meters or something? And then for another wool, it'll be 400 meters. So I'm still trying to get my head around that. So yeah, this is the next one. It's just block me out. Just a fairly simple wool. Again, this is okay. This is 30% cashmere, 20% wool, and 50% silk. How does that affect construction? I have no idea. Um, I'm guessing from the fact that it's cashmere and silk, it's going to maybe have a fine, smooth feel. But I've never worn anything cashmere in my life, so I have no idea. But I will be finding out at some point. So I'm going to have to make another video where I just grab all of the wool that I've gotten and maybe just put it in like piles to sort out the kind of like the textures and the colors and see if there's like kind of a consistency in all the random purchases that I've made uh, that will kind of pull together into a project. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know that I've been consistent enough in my purchases to to have enough of anything that makes sense. It's just going to be totally random, and that's the way I roll. The last one, speaking of totally random, this is something that just looked really interesting, and I thought, well, I've got to buy it just to find out, what is it. So maybe you know what this is, what you do with it, but this is what they call t-shirt yarn. Yeah, and it's essentially like I don't know, torn up t-shirt. I don't know, t-shirt material that's been turned into a kind of like a ribbon of some sort that you then knit somehow. So that'll be an interesting video to watch when I get round to it. Um, I'm guessing it's just cotton. Um, I mean, look at the instructions on there. I mean, do you understand what those mean? The dry, plain, unfold, arid. Okay, go with that. But hey, whatever will come out of that, I'm sure you'll want to see the disaster that comes from it. Yeah, can't see anything that says particularly what it is, but I'm guessing it's like I said cotton. I'm being optimistic there, and it's probably like nylon or polyester. Oh, there we go, polyester, 100%. Yeah. So, so at least whatever it is, I can chuck it in the washing machine once I've worn it or given it to somebody else to wear, depending on what you're supposed to use it for. Um, but yeah, so oh no, not forgetting. I mean, this is basically I just bought a little tape measure. I can't find it amongst all that now. Just because all the things that I had with all my different packages just came in the long traditional kind of like long piece of something tape measure that is just a pain to kind of roll up and store and whatever. So I just got a little mini kind of extending roll back one. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much where I am at with purchases. This video is essentially because this my focus is just on this now, and that means I can just crack on with that now. I don't need to think of a video for this week. um, and I can just get my head down, finish this off. I'm about halfway through the second sleeve. Obviously, I'm filming these bits of progress and whatever, so you'll see that um, once it's all done. I'll just chuck it all in one video rather than eke it out. Yeah, and then once that's done, I'm going to go back to the socks and the glove. Even though now that it's March, April, I don't need the glove so much. I mean, when I work nights, maybe I do because it still gets quite cold at night, and when I go out for a break, then I get a bit cold. Um, but with uh, with that being done, then it'll be time to think of what the next thing is that I want to try. Do I go for something short and fun, like like I said before, maybe I do myself a pair of shorts ready for summer. Maybe that's what I use the t-shirt yarn for. So, I think there's enough leopard print t-shirt yarn there for a pair of shorts for me. You know, but yeah, so it'll probably be a t-shirt, uh, but again, I'll figure that out. But thanks for staying, and I'll crack on this jumper.